Hello, and welcome to our second channel, which at the time of filming we have not yet chosen a name for.
But a lack of name and the fact that it's our second channel should in no way suggest that it is inferior to our original channel, The Tired Craftsman.
In tonight's video, we're going to show you how we achieved our very low budget practical effects for a robot battle, featured in our Big Bot Bash video for the main channel.
Full disclosure, we're not professional filmmakers, but our hope is that by showing you the way we do our effects, it can help give you some ideas to get started on your own film project.
So let's get right into it. The support frames of the bots were made using 1x2s, which are wooden beams that you can find at places like Lowe's and Home Depot, and they're attached to plywood bases for balance. The coverings are all made of EVA foam floor mats, which can be found at a lot of those same stores I just listed. Contact cement was used to put all the pieces together, and they were all sealed with a few coats of Plasti-Dip, which is a sort of rubberized spray coating that helps give them a less foam-like finish. And finally, they were painted with Krylon metallic dark metal spray paint. The eyes were made of halves of plastic Christmas ornaments that were spray painted white on the inside so that they could diffuse the lights that we put behind them, which were just red LED strips. Though no matter what we tried in the actual video, they kept looking yellow on camera. I assume it had something to do with the eyes being the only real light source because it was filmed outside at night, and maybe the camera just kind of over-focused on that light or something, because in the garage, when it's next to other things that can bounce light off them as well, the eyes look obviously red.
Now we're going to show you how we made these guys look like they were moving, walking, and reacting to everything around them. The walking process is embarrassingly simple. You just hold the vertical wooden stick with one hand and move it left and right to get the shoulders to move. And you keep the head straight with the wooden rod in the back. It helps that he's made of foam because, it moves around a lot on its own. It's really flexible, so as you sway him back and forth, you get a little extra movement.
So the next thing we want to show you is how we did the rocket launching effect for the big off robot here. So for the Big Bot Bash video, we only needed this guy to really do two things. Walk around and fire a whole bunch of rockets at all of our little gremlin bots. And to do that, I made this stick with a hose attached to it, and at the other end I have a CO2 bike pump. So basically the idea is you take one of these, here they are, these foam missiles, they look a little rough, they've been used a few times, and you put it on the end, and then we would stick a sparkler into the back there and light it so it looks like there's some sort of propellant going on, and then just go along each of his pods there and just fire it off. So this is 34. It's basically just a bucket attached to a remote control car. And he stole the show, goddammit. Now I can say with absolutely no ego that 34 is the shining example of a no-budget trash robot. But even so, he got a few nice comments on the video. People seem to enjoy him. And that's probably due in some part to the fact that he is by far the most violent robot we've ever featured in a video. So let's get a little bit into how we achieved the embarrassing effects that made him our masterpiece of death.
We're going to show you how we did 34's tentacle effect, where he opened up his little robot door and unleashed hell in the form of a Doc Ock-style tentacle and started ripping apart robot arms, eyes, and ass. And to do that, we had to build a separate 34, also out of a bucket. The reason being, we needed a hole in the back so we could fit the tentacle through. Out the little trap door in the front, which is opened by this lever on the side. Now, one person will stabilize 34 and open his front door by using the lever on the side, while the second person shoves the tentacle through the opening that's not quite large enough to accommodate the claw. It could have been. I don't know why it's not.
And making his tentacle was actually pretty easy. All we did was take a wooden dowel and stuck it into a vacuum cleaner hose, and then the claw is made entirely of foam. Well, except for the springs. That was just a little aesthetic stuff to make it look like it actually works, which it doesn't. Yeah, this doesn't even move. But hopefully nobody noticed that while watching the video. To make it look like he could reach out and grab things with precision, we just reversed the shots, starting with his claw on the target. It would have been a bit difficult to quickly extend the tentacle and hit the intended mark, so this felt like a good solution. And to have him pull the eye out, we just superglued the claw to a loose eye and then just pulled it out. if you've seen a movie, you probably know that a machine being damaged often comes with an unrealistic amount of sparks, and we weren't about to break with that tradition. Plus, it just helps to sell that what you're seeing is actually a mechanical thing and not what is essentially a big foam box. And all it took to do that was to take some sparklers and stick them into the bots, light them, put the body parts over it, and then quickly start filming and pull the part off. This created a very easy to pull off damage effect, and I think it was pretty effective in portraying the destruction the way that we wanted it to look. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about a bit is the battle damaged robots that we did. We didn't do a whole lot of that, I think we only did 2 in the end. But I think it's really important to kind of have some things like this to really sell that the robots are getting destroyed, because we have a few limbs getting ripped off and things like that, but a lot of the puppets are modular, and I feel like it just doesn't hit the same as actually seeing like ripped up metal and like wires and stuff hanging out. Although I'm not going to lie to you, it is a lot of work for very little screen time. It took about 5 hours to build just this right here, and I think he's on screen for maybe a second and a half. But again, I think it sells the effect pretty good. And it wasn't too expensive to do this. I kind of just went around the shop and looked for a bunch of like scraps that I had, like extra wires and like these sort of like little, I think it was some sort of LED strip of some kind, and these, I don't know what you call these, like wire sheets?
No.
But yeah, so, you know, it doesn't take a lot. You just need something that looks like guts all in there. And then we threw some LEDs in there just to make it look a little more electronic. And you don't have to build a whole one for just this. You know, like you could, it's like if you don't have a lot of time, you know, and like you're on a strict budget, you could just film the completed robots, get all your shots with them, and then kind of go to town on one and make them look all beat up. And for this one, all I did was I just cut a hole out of them with a razor blade, and then I used a wood burner and just kind of just scratched it all up all over just to give it kind of like a mangled metal finish, which I think, you know, considering what we were working with, you know, it's pretty good. I'm happy with how it turned out. Oh, and we forgot to mention this earlier, but the full torso damaged bot was just operated by pulling a bunch of strings that ran through his body and were attached near all of his like pivot points at his joints. I have an idea for an improved version of that I want to use in future videos, so let me know if you'd like to see a build of that here on this channel down in the comments.
And there you have it. So if you want to make a movie where robots walk, shoot rockets, and spark when they get ripped apart, but you don't have a big budget, that's one way you can do it. Oh, and we'll put a link to the Big Bot Bash video in the description, in case you're not familiar with our other work and want to check it out.
Bye. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the first video of our new sorta behind the scenes channel. We have a lot more planned, like costume builds and some more practical effects, so if you want to see how we do things and want to learn along with us, consider subscribing. You can support us on Patreon starting at just $1 if you really like what we do here. And if you haven't already, maybe check out our main channel, The Tired Craftsman, where we do craft projects and little mini movies sometimes. Links to all that will be down in the description. Have a good night.